just a maintenance day for him today. Should be fine for tomorrow.
Did it come off that check last night, Sheldon, on the boarding call? Did he need that, or?
I don't think so. I believe he took a puck.
Okay.
He got hit with a puck. That's really it. Yeah.
With the Mrazek situation now, obviously it's not ideal, but now that you come off the tandem idea, how do you really manage Jack now in the next month or so?
I think just the way that we have, in terms of reducing his load in these practices, that's it. The games, of course, are, that's a big ask of him, but the schedule, save for, the back-to-backs that are approaching, we're in a good place that way. I think he's in a good groove here, obviously, playing well right now, and in talking with him, he feels good in terms of what we're asking of him in practices, that he's staying sharp, but at the same time not overdoing it, reducing the amount of shots and work that he gets there. So I think he's feeling good about it, and obviously we want to have Peter healthy, and we like the idea of having the tandem and guys that can work together. We can share that workload a little bit better, but at the same time, Jack's in the groove right now. He's rolling, so it's a positive for him that he can just keep at it and knows that he's going to be playing every day.
He's come obviously a long way when it comes to managing emotions. Even this year, he was saying he didn't like his first period against Tampa, but he's been really working about it, in games when that's not going his way, like buckling down and making sure. Just curious your perspective. What have you noticed about how he continues to come along in that regard?
Yeah, I've definitely seen growth there. Also just growth in terms of how he holds himself accountable into a really high standard and things that really are out of his control. Just focus on what he can control, and that's really, whether he makes the save or not early. It's a long game. There's going to be more shots coming. The team's going to be relying on him to keep the score down and give us a chance. And that was really, that's, if I look at the Tampa game, that's really it. He gives up the one early, but that's it. And despite the fact that we don't get a lot happening in that game offensively, it just takes one strike late for us to tie it and get a chance to get in 2 points. So that's the goaltender's job, and he's certainly been delivering on that.
Mrazek talked about how on the road that he was working with the medical staff to try and get that, and he got that. Was there ever any concern when he's coming back from an injury that maybe he's coming back too soon, or how do you assess that when someone's coming from an injury to make sure that they're coming back and they're ready?
Yeah, obviously the medical team, are a lot smarter than I am when it comes to these things. We trust them, and they worked really diligently to ensure that. In fact, Peter himself was saying for a number of days in advance of when he actually played that he was more than ready. Right from the start of our road trip out there in Pittsburgh, Carolina, he was really feeling good, and we pushed him back to give him more time, but he was absolutely certain, as with the medical team, everything checked out. But it's just the nature of these injuries and playing the position, that these things are always a risk. Obviously, we went through a lot of it with Jack last season, but he's been great thus far here in terms of managing that. And our medical team is as good as any in the league, and they're going to continue to monitor it as they get to know Peter better.
Tavares has obviously elevated his play in some regards to help you guys get going again. But as the captain, as a leader, he seems to have that balance between being stoic and even killed, but also intense. What have you noticed about how he's handled things to help you guys get going on this run?
I think first of all, he's just remained confident in himself and the group, and that's so important when things aren't going well. Is you got to keep the belief, not point fingers and question yourself or others, and just keep working. And he's embodied that as our leader, and I think that's really helped. It's not just him. I think that's been consistent through our team, but the tone is set by your most experienced players in your leadership group, and John leads the way there.
Do you think Jake and TJ have had a study in the
Which, sorry?
Do you think Jake and TJ have had a study in the
Yeah, I think so. I've been trying to assess how much of it is the pairs and them playing off each other. How much is it just the fact that our team is playing better, and that all of our individuals, I think, have settled into the season here and are playing better. So I think there's got to be some level of effect there. With the presence that TJ has, it could also just be the fact that there was change. That in itself shocks the system a little bit for the group. And, we have seen an uptick really in our play of our defense as a whole, but also our entire team is just incrementally played better, and it hasn't been perfect, and it won't be perfect maybe ever, but we want to continue to strive for greater consistency in our play, and I think we've been seeing that. We've been put to the test against some very tough opponents here this week, and it's not going to get any easier the rest of the way. Every team is good in their own way and brings their own challenges, but I've really liked how our whole group has improved. I don't know if we can put a finger on what exactly that is in terms of the line changes or the D pairs, but I just know that individually and collectively we've improved.
Timothy hasn't had a lot of rookie moments, but was there a lesson there last night when he went in the box that you don't go unless you for sure have a penalty?
Yeah, that is definitely one. I was actually quite confident just myself that I was telling our bench we were going to be on the power play. Just the way the arm went up and I saw it, I think Marchand might have got away with a couple before that, and the ref just kind of seen enough sort of thing. But then I think the whole ruckus in front of the net maybe threw Timothy off a little bit. And of course, it's always tough when the linesman grabs you by the arm and escorts you there. So yeah, it's all part of it. Obviously happy with how it ended up being called and how that worked out.
So do you guys anticipate recalling Hutchinson, or do you think Joseph will next year? How does that work?
I think I'm going to talk to Kyle about that. We have some time. Obviously, Joe's here now. We think this is great experience for him. Hutchinson was able to play a game last night. We're in a situation here now that all the reports from the three goalies that have been with the Marlies, including Joe and then Eric Källgren, who, by all accounts, stole a game for them out in Rochester on Friday night and was outstanding. We've got options there, so we're gonna talk about that and get it sorted.
Is Jack's former team tomorrow? Anything the team's looking forward to?
You know what? I've noted that myself. That it is. It feels like it's been a long time since we played them. In fact, I went back to the last time was a couple seasons ago and looking at some of the clips of that game and some of the different sequences in it. But in terms of Jack, I'm sure on a personal note, it's a thing for him. And of course, we want to play well in front of him. But it's not something we've talked about or Jack has mentioned to me personally. I think. Enough time has elapsed that he certainly considers himself a Leaf for sure. Yeah, that's the intention. Just today was just a maintenance day for him, and he'll be fine tomorrow.